what would motivate people for committing such cyber crimes? Right? The first and foremost motive is disrupting business continuity. Others would be looking at data theft or information theft and manipulating that data to gain from that data. So if I'm able to access your computer and steal some data that has some value to you and sell it or make it public, you would be at a financial loss because that data no longer has any value. Creating fear and chaos by disrupting critical infrastructure. For example, a company's infrastructure crashes, the services are no longer being offered by that organization, and people start panicking, start fearing an attack by cyber criminals, and it leads to chaos. Financial loss to the target, which is very obvious. If I do a denial of service attack, or if I make a service unavailable from an organization, what is going to happen is, since that service is not functioning, the company is not going to make any money out of it, and thus going to suffer a financial loss. Achieving states' military objectives, one country spying on another country, trying to gather information about their military intelligence, military activities, or any other activities that can harm the original country. Demanding ransom, hackers can encrypt your data and then demand a ransom from you in lieu of decrypting the data again. Damaging reputation of a target, impersonating a user on the social media platforms, making false statements, thus damaging the reputation of that person, and propagating religious or political beliefs. Religious fanatics, promoting whatever cultures that they want to promote, trying to gain more followers, thus bringing more unrest to the world. Any of these could become motives for cybercrime. In fact, it could be just a script kiddie where people are trying to learn about hacking and they just start hacking for fun. They might not even have a motive for making a profit out of it. Maybe it just thrills them so that they are able to showcase their skills, and that's why they do a cybercrime. So, which brings us to the next topic where we talk about types of hackers. This will allow us to identify what kind of attacks are also possible on a particular organization as far as motives are concerned. So, the basic types, let's start off with the black hat hacker. Individuals with extraordinary computing skills resorting to malicious or destructive activities. These are your criminal hackers who try to profit from their crimes, and they will have a malicious intent in trying to hack a victim organization. The grey hats are individuals who work both offensively and defensively. What does that mean? They could work as black hat hackers with malicious intent and try to harm some organization, while on the other hand, they would also try to work as a security analyst and try to enhance the security posture of an organization for a remuneration. Third one, which is white hat, which is what we want to be or what we want to achieve ourselves as. An individual who professes the same skills as a black hat hacker, probably uses the same tools, has the same kind of knowledge, but the intent is different. They're going to use them for defensive purposes. There's no malicious intent. They act with authorization from the organization, and they will try to detect any flaws and try to plug out those flaws so that black hat hackers would not be able to misuse those flaws to gain access. Suicide hackers. Now, individuals who aim to bring down critical infrastructure for a cause and are not worried about facing jail terms or any other punishment. So, any people or any organization or a group of people, for example, anonymous or these kind of organized hackers, they have a political cause or a social cause that they want to promote, and they do this by hacking critical infrastructure of organizations, bringing it down, defacing their website. Now, why would these not be classified as black hat hackers? The main difference between black hat hackers and suicide hackers is that black hat hackers will try to hide their identity. They will always have a fake identity that they will utilize and try to hide behind it, whereas suicide hackers will claim responsibility for the attacks that they have done and will boast about it. They will not be worried about facing repercussions for the attacks that they have done. The script kiddie. A script kiddie is an unskilled hacker who compromises systems by running scripts, tools and softwares already developed and already made available by real hackers. So these guys have very minimal technical knowledge. They have no idea how that attack works. They're just going to use an automated tool, click on a few buttons and hope that the attack succeeds. A cyber terrorist. Individuals with wide range of skills motivated by religious or political beliefs to create fear by large-scale disruption of computer networks. We could talk about organizations like ISIS, who have a lot of digital propaganda that they use and target weak-minded people to join their causes. Or people who spread ransomware, who terrorize organizations and hold them to ransom and demand money from them by encrypting their data. State-sponsored hackers, individuals employed by the government to penetrate and gain top secret information and to damage information systems to other governments. The best example would be the cyber wars that are going on these days. Most of the countries nowadays would have a secret cyber cell consisting of highly skilled hackers who are entrusted with the task of spying on the enemies and trying to gather information by hacking into their infrastructure. Now, it is not going to be a legit job. It will always be masked by a legit organization, but this does happen. Hacktivism, individuals who promote a political agenda by hacking, especially defacing or disabling websites. So the difference between suicide hackers and hacktivism is suicide hackers have a social cause that they want to promote. Hacktivists would have a political agenda and they're going to deface websites and they're going to promote their agenda by defacing such websites. Alright, so let's talk about some common attacks in cybersecurity. The most common attack ever seen in today's world is a denial of service attack. So this is where the hacker tries to consume the resources of the victim server in such a way that there are no resources available for legitimate users to connect to the server and conduct their business. Other attacks that you will face would be malware attacks, where there would be a malicious software that would deliver a Trojan virus or a worm to the victim, thus infecting the victim's machine and rendering it useless. A man-in-the-middle attack, where the hacker would put himself in between your machine and the router and start sniffing data packets that you're sending, thus trying to compromise information contained within those packets. So the phishing attack is where a hacker will send a seemingly legitimate looking message to you, an email, let's say, asking you to perform certain actions, where the hacker would be impersonating another organization and you fall prey to that and end up giving your confidential information. A drive-by attack, cross-site scripting attacks, where web applications get compromised and scripts are embedded within those applications or within commands that are sent out by the users. Password attacks, where hackers try to compromise the passwords of users by cracking them based either on brute force, dictionary-based attacks, or password guessing. Eavesdropping attacks, this could be physical in nature, where somebody overhears what you're saying or tries to capture data packets that contain your VoIP transmissions, where let's say you're assuming you're making a Skype or a link-based call. SQL injection attacks, where again attackers will target your database, try to send in malicious queries which will compromise your database and the data within. Birthday attacks, it is based on cryptography, where you're looking at permutations and combinations of how algorithm functions, and then you're looking at the permutations on how many times the processing needs to be done for that algorithm to be reversed. So these are some of the most common attacks in cybersecurity. Now, these more than attacks would be threats that you're going to face. There would be various different methods that these attacks can be launched. And that's where the cybersecurity expert comes in with their knowledge of identifying what exactly is a threat to the organization and how they are going to prevent that from happening.